So do you guys remember back in the early 2000s where we had those silly little Mickey Mouse shorts? Like when Mickey, Donald, and Goofy almost had their organs ripped out? Or when Pluto thought Minnie was gonna send him to hell? They were... But then the powers that be were like, dude, these shorts just aren't hitting. What are we gonna do? And they were like, I got it. Let's create a cartoon series, but let's include every Disney animated character in our entire 60-year-long filmography and put them into one universe. Wow, so is the series going to be an epic adventure story full of fantasy and wonder that expands upon the Disney lore while celebrating our rich history of beloved animated characters, stories, and music? Nah, it's just a framing device for these silly cartoons. Sounds good to me. And thus, Disney's House of Mouse was born. For those of you that don't have a childhood, The House of Mouse was this series on Toon Disney in which Mickey and his squad run a G-rated nightclub where they serve dinner and play the aforementioned cartoons to big-name guest stars. That being, every major character in the entire Disney animated canon and then some. Now you've got your money makers like Aladdin, Belle and the Beast, and Timon and Pumbaa. But you've also got your classics like Snow White, Alice, and Peter Pan thrown into the mix. Again, nothing too fancy, but it doesn't stop there. We also got your obscure never-heard-of-ems like Ichabod, Johnny Appleseed, and Madame Mim thrown into the mix too. And to top it all off, old school stars from the classic shorts like Horace Horsecollar, Scrooge McDuck, and the Three Little Pigs were also packed into this gem of a show. Now like I said, the cartoon shorts that were played in this show were harmless fun. But I think I speak for many a Disney fan when I say we were more invested in the house segments where we saw heroes, princesses, villains, and anthropomorphic animals chatting and engaging with each other like it was no big deal. Yeah, okay, they weren't always that interesting or creative, but a lot of these moments were pretty inspired. Like that time Pain and Panic were hazing Pinocchio, or when Chernabog admitted that he's afraid of the dark to Clarabelle Cow. And where else are you going to find Hades hooking up with Maleficent? Okay, not the best example. But the point is, this is probably the first Disney property that really took a stab at conceptualizing the brand of the franchise into one animated product. Yeah, it was your slightly above average Saturday morning cartoon, the animation could be downright horrendous at times, and the quote-unquote plots of the episodes could barely qualify as such. The opening theme is a banger though. But you could tell that someone on the writing team really knew their Disney shit. Like, some of the stuff they put in here would have only been recognized by the kind of hardcore fans who spend their nights browsing on TV tropes. The show wasn't afraid to include characters from the franchise's more forgotten or problematic works, like the crows from Dumbo, Cy and Am from Lady and the Tramp, the Horned King from The Black Cauldron, and Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, and Brer Brer from Song of the South. For the record, I'm not saying we should embrace these characters with open arms or anything, cause obviously racism be bad. I'm just saying that it's nice that the House of Mouse acknowledged that these characters do exist, and that they did contribute to the legacy as much as we'd hate to admit it. So yeah, The House of Mouse was a wonderfully average cartoon. But you may be wondering, why am I bringing this up now besides being a 20-something man-child desperately clinging on to a relic of his childhood that nobody talks about? Because, despite dabbling with this crossover stuff with The House of Mouse, it baffles me because ever since then, Disney has never again tried something like this. Now, to be fair, they tried a couple times. Little known fact, there was once a movie called The Search for Mickey Mouse that the Disney company ultimately scrapped. The basic plot would have been that Mickey goes MIA, and Minnie enlists the help of Basil Labasker Street to find him, running into a character from every film in the Disney animated canon along the way. That one never got past the brainstorming phase from what I heard, but there was also an animated short that we never got called Princess Academy, and in this one, a little girl has a tea party with every fucking female character in the Disney and Pixar franchise. That one actually made it to the storyboard phase, and god damn does this look nice. Oh yeah, there's also Kingdom Hearts, but I can't really comment on that since I've never played it. From what I understand, the first two didn't work out because of logistics reasons and because of some messy behind-the-scenes drama. But the potential was always there, and always in the back of the Disney execs' heads. We know this because years later, we finally got a truly realized crossover in the form of Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Chances are if you're watching this video, you know what I'm talking about. But for me, this was always the proof of concept that yes, a Disney crossover could work, and it has worked. And that's pretty much the House of Mouse in a nutshell. It always felt like an appetizer to a much larger main course that we just never got. Solid attempts have been done since then, and considering that Disney is a power-hungry monopoly digesting everything in its path, the sentiment I want to leave this video on is this. Disney. How the fuck are you not capitalizing on this? You're sitting on a 90-year-long goldmine of animated history, iconic characters, and timeless stories all intrinsically tied into the same family-friendly aesthetic and branding. And don't try to tell me that there isn't an audience for it, cause that's a load of baloney. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is living, breathing proof that people do want to see a world that's bigger than the sum of its parts. And you own Marvel's ass, so you've seen firsthand the investment there. Yeah, I know I sound like a corporate shill at this point. And yes, 85% of the reason I even bought a ticket for Ralph Wrecks the Internet was for that damn princess scene, but the fact that I did just proves my point. Hell, if you had a series or something like that as an original program on Disney+, I pretty much guarantee that the populace would throw even more of their hard-earned money at you than you've already cheated them out of. Speaking of which, why isn't the House of Mouse on Disney+ yet? Anyway, as I was saying, there's literally nothing stopping you guys from producing something of this scale. Especially now that we live in their godforsaken remake culture that is obsessed with looking back at the old days of yonder so that we may forget the wonderful glory that is 2020. Is a Disney cinematic multiverse where we can see characters like Robin Hood, Spring Sprite, Genie, Elsa, and Donald Duck come together to combat an evil entity for the sake of the world really that out of reach? I can't say for sure, but if there's one thing we know about Disney, it's that if we want them to get something done, the best way to do so is to make them think it was their idea all along. What's up guys, thanks again for watching to the end of the video. Despite all the jokes that I made, I'm actually a really big Disney fan, so I was really excited to get this video out for you guys. If you're also a Disney fan and you want to see more content like this, you can show your support by liking this video, sharing to your friends, leaving a comment, and subscribing to my channel. Until then, see you real soon!